Welcome to another Rooster Talk, where we speak with ASX companies and those who are close to listing on the ASX. Today here we're at the UWA Club here in Crawley, and I've got Michael Bohm here from Riedel Resources going to give us an update on what's been happening with the company and the projects, Kingman Gold Project in Arizona. So Michael, fire away.
Thanks, Noel. Thanks for having us back on this winter,
Midday, yeah.
Blustery day here in Perth. It's much nicer in Arizona. I'd rather be in Arizona right now. It's nice and warm. It was a chance to come and catch up and update people on what's happening. As you know, the last few months we've been putting announcements out to update the market on our drilling results. So we finished that program not long ago. The results are all out. We finished it on time, on budget, safely. So everyone was very happy with how that went. All the results are out now. As you know, we're excited about what we intersected with so many drill holes hitting mineralisation: gold, silver, lead, zinc, and in particular Tintic. As you know, Tintic, we got some very high grades which we announced to the market at Tintic, 3.8 metres at 98 grams a tonne, 4 metres at 4 grams a tonne. We're now looking to what's next. And obviously we announced on Monday that we've done a capital raising, and we're looking to get back into start drilling in Arizona next quarter.
Okay. I mean, the raising is good, obviously. Then that shows, you guys are. I mean, in the announcement, you mentioned that you're actually going to be focusing around that Tintic area, I draw to the point where from the first time we spoke, I've mentioned that I liked the area, and I think a lot of people miss this fact that you're actually Arizona, that western side of USA, is effectively like the South American Andes, or along the margins along Indonesia and the Philippines. Because you're at a subduction zone, that's where the action happens. And that's why you're getting a lot of this fertility happening in mineralisation. And I did this article, probably I released it maybe 3 weeks ago, talking about this kind of thing and how to relate from a large scale like a subduction zone down to maybe your own belt down somewhere in Arizona. One of the key things I picked up from there was that it's fertile, and the possibilities are endless. Obviously you guys have had a time to look at your stuff, and from Merrimack down to Jim's, and I think a while ago you released some geophysics as well. What's the consensus now? Because you guys are sat back and go, oh, we've done all this drilling, we've got good results. I think you mentioned almost 50% of your drill holes that you've done hit mineralisation, all great mineralisation. So can you give us a sort of an update of how the boffins are thinking, how the man in the management are thinking?
Yeah, look, it's really interesting, and stepping back, you're right. This is a well-endowed mineralised area. I mean, we know for a fact that Nevada and Arizona have significant bands of mineralisation. We're in a porphyry belt. I'm not saying that we have a porphyry, but we're in a porphyry belt that runs from around where we are all the way down through Arizona. There's some very large, world-class sort of copper porphyry mines down through there, all the way to Mexico. And indeed, as you know, we've got a large copper moly porphyry on our doorstep. It's now on care and maintenance, but that's 3 or 4 kilometres from our lease boundary. So we know that it's a well mineralised area. We're not chasing porphyries now. That's not to say that the opportunity is not there, but that's not our main focus. Our main focus is the shallower near surface mineralisation, which we chased at Tintic, Merrimack, Arizona Magma, and Jim's. They were the primary areas that we went into. And what was really encouraging for us is that, it still is exploration. We went in with a drill program and drilled 56 holes. And, we had lots of holes hitting high-grade gold, silver with lead and zinc, and some elevated lead and zinc through there, and some significant silver grades through the area. So we were hoping this area was well mineralised, and it really is very well mineralised. Now, Tintic is the standout. Obviously, we're hitting grades of 4 grams a tonne, 10 metres from surface, 98 grams a tonne, 20 metres from surface. So in the short term, that's going to be our focus, obviously. But there's a lot going on there that we need to understand. I mentioned the Mineral Park mine, which is 3 k's from our border, but 2 kilometres to the east of us is the old Tennessee mine, and that was a lead zinc mine that went down 500 metres, and that operated on and off for decades. So we firmly believe we're just scratching the surface here. It's now obviously following up, unlocking the secrets, but the first cab off the rank is the very high grades at Tintic.
In my research for that article, I sort of suspected that you got a hybrid or a VMS. We mentioned that before in our previous conversations. But after doing my research and understanding that belt you have there, because it's littered with porphyries all the way down to the Mexican border, it's striking that northwest direction, which is approximately where the main structure is running. I think I saw your geophysics. I see that same northwest direction. Yep. I'm convinced you got a hybrid of porphyry to a VMS. You got all the hallmarks there. You got that higher grade in terms of gold. You've got your zincs, your leads. You got porphyries all over the thing. It's like you're walking into a food market, really, in terms of connotations, right? Yep. So I'm convinced you got something of that hybrid. So when you guys talk about, because I've got a few people who email me and talk about it, and this guy is probably in the older age range, and he made a point. He says, look, he saw our conversation. He said, oh, look, this is great, but Arizona and Nevada is the only place I would ever go if I was in that area anyway. That was his comment. Yep. Can you follow up with thoughts on that? What's he talking about?
Well, look, the interesting thing about Arizona and Nevada is that they're known to host numerous mines, from small scratchings, workings to world-class operations, both gold and copper and other minerals as well, but predominantly with gold and copper. The other interesting thing about that part of the world is, and you'd expect me to say this, Noel, but I believe it's underexplored for a number of reasons. And the fact that we could go up and drill all these holes and hit high grade when they've been sitting around for a long time is testament to that, we think. The reality is because of the tenure system, it's harder to get on the ground and put together packages of ground like we have, but Rome wasn't built in a day. That took us a while to put together. And also unlike say Canada and Australia, there was no real domestic market for juniors. I think I've mentioned this before, they exist, but little juniors like us going out and drilling holes wasn't the norm. It tended to be bigger companies that were looking for world-class ore bodies. And if they didn't find it, they moved on, or if they didn't think it had the potential to be a world-class ore body, they moved on. Now what's interesting though is that you can be within a few kilometres, a few miles of what is a very large porphyry copper moly, and have this mineralisation and have it never followed up. And what's interesting is that when I speak we have a number of shareholders who are geologists, and then they again, it's an overused term, they just go, Mike, we're in this for the long haul because you guys are just scratching the surface here. Everywhere you're drilling holes, you're hitting mineralisation. Now, what that means in the long term, we'll find out. That's the nature of exploration. But there's a lot going on in this area.
The fact that you got a porphyry, it's the importance is not the actual mine and porphyry. I think the importance is that it means that the system has enough energy and potential to cook up something like that. There's definitely a large system that would spill over to the rest, and you've got this great big belt. I mean, look, when I did that research, the thing that jumped out at me was that there's all these dots of porphyries everywhere. Like, it's not 1 or 2 or 5, but it's too many to count. You would have a problem putting names on labels on a map.
So look, for us it's a good thing it's that well mineralised. I want to stress we're not chasing a porphyry here. We're going to do some geophysics, and our geologists, when they go to site, they haven't got a closed mindset as to what they're looking for. So we look inside the box and we look outside the box, and we're testing a number of theories, and we'll do some geophysics. And so our location is not lost on us. but our short to medium focus is the high grade areas that we're targeting around Tintic. But when we do our drill program next quarter, you know, it's going to be dominated by focus on Tintic, but it won't be all Tintic. You know, we're still excited about what we see. We put that announcement out, I think a couple of weeks ago, that showed that the two geophysical anomalies to the south end of our property, and indeed we staked more ground, more claims to the south of us, because we have, you know, a kilometre and a 500 metre geophysical anomaly associated with high-grade rock chip samples. So we've actually got people on the ground now doing more work around those. So yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Going back to that the geophysical image that you guys released, I mean, that showed clearly there's another inner structure somewhere. To me, in my opinion, when I don't like people using the word porphyry meaning porphyry. That's why I use the word hybrid, because it's just a name to tag something so that people know what it is. That's my simplistic geological point, is that whatever you guys have is going to be different, and obviously is different. And the fact that you're almost on surface at Tintic, which is really interesting. It's like, imagine the tentacles of veins or structures that's coming up feeding these things. When you look on a regional scale, do you think that what you see to the northern end is going to be similar to the southern end? Because you're picking up that high grade of rock chip, right? So it must be in the back of your mind, though. Well,
you know, humble mining engineer here. So when you're talking geology and geophysics, you know, I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about what it could be. What I'm keen to do is for the geologists to look at all the data, because remember, we only finished drilling, you know, a month or so ago, is to get all the data together, understand what they can from the drilling, also do some more geophysics, which we will do, but also correlate it with the current geophysics we've done, and build a plan for the next step. You know, there's a lot going on, because I mean, we talk about the porphyry down there at Mineral Park, just next door, but there were dozens of mines to the east of us chasing high-grade gold, silver, lead, zinc that weren't chasing porphyries. So you're right. It's not a porphyry story. It's a story that has multiple legs to it, and we're still getting our heads around that. But if we'd gone and drilled 56 holes and had 4 or 5 holes that had hit some interesting mineralisation, you know, we would have been disappointed. To have gone and drilled those holes and had multiple holes that have hit not only high grades but polymetallics in all the places we went drilling. I mean, all the places we went drilling returned polymetallic mineralisation. Speaks to us. We say, well, what's going on here? We are scratching the surface, and you know, our goal is that there's a short, medium, and long-term price here, be that whatever it is geologically.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. You are seeing polymetallic mineralisation. And I must add also that the numbers that you get, sure, the gold might be low at this point of it, but the zinc was very interesting. Then the other side you didn't see. At Gyms. Yeah. And then at Tintic, your gold is very, very interesting. So I like that mix. It's obviously, you know, I like to use the word VMS, but I think you don't know. I don't like putting labels on things. I think labels an after event, right? Yep. You got to find it first, and then go, hey, this is great. Oh, it's a VMS. Oh, fantastic. Or whatever it may be. But going forward, let's say, you know, obviously, you know, we know that I think this is fantastic. It's definitely underexplored. You know, your biggest problem is to keep the bank balance going and keep drilling, because I don't think you have a problem technically, and I think I mentioned that in my article as well, because I think you're in the sweet spot, right? Yep. So going forward, you know, what's the news for Riedel?
Well, look, and you're right. It's about being funded to go and do the program, and we had the opportunity right now, as you know, gold's booming in US dollar terms. Copper is booming, iron ore's booming, lithium's booming. There's a lot
What's
of demand.
Not booming?
There's a lot of demand for drill rigs and geologists, as we all know. And so we had the opportunity. We've built up a very good relationship with Boart Longyear. I think I said before, we pay our bills on time. They like that. The drilling conditions are really good, the ground conditions. So, you know, when you've got difficult ground conditions, no one wins. The client doesn't win, the contractor doesn't win, it's just tough. We've had really good ground conditions, so getting very good penetration rates, so lots of productivity. So bought long year like that, as do we. The other thing is that we're not in the deepest, darkest places. We are 3 miles off an interstate in Arizona and 20 miles from a large town. So for the drilling contractor to get his rigs there and get his people there and get in and out is really easy. So they said to us, look, you know, it's tough to get rigs. We can give you the same crew and the same rig if you want it back. So we thought, well, the way to do that is to be funded and commit to it. And off the back of the great results, because we believe they're great results, we decided that we could raise some money, and we had support to do it. As you saw, we announced. And what that allows us to do now is to commit to drilling next quarter, which is what we're doing now. You know, next quarter's only 4 weeks away. We're not drilling in 4 weeks. It'll be mid to late next quarter, as we told the market. But for us, it was being able to secure the rig and get on there. So we're well placed now. We've got great targets. We've got people. We've got access to the rig. It's locked in. So we're just looking forward to the news flow, and the news flow will come post that. I mean, obviously we plan during the next 2 or 3 months to be doing more work on the ground. I've mentioned that we've got geologists doing work, so we'll be doing work on the ground. We'll be doing more geophysics, but our focus will be to get drilling.
Thanks, Mike. I mean, look, I like the project. I really think that drilling, the next drilling phase will be add more sort of flair to what's there. I love the fact that you've, although you know you got patches of drilling, but they're actually drawing that picture clearer.
Well, and that's right, because when we put it on the map and see the 4 patches that we've drilled with multiple holes, they've all hit multiple intersections of mineralisation. And look, Tintic's exciting in the short term because, yeah, we all like grade. Everyone loves grade, and that it is important. But what's interesting about Tintic is it's a 700-metre anomaly. We've only drilled the top part of the northern part of the anomaly, just north of the road. So there's 500 or 600 metres that have never been drilled, and the 2 southernmost holes, which are in our stock exchange announcement, holes 4 and 5, hit 3.8 metres at 98 grams per tonne, and you know, from 20 metres, and you know, 4 odd metres at 4 grams a tonne from 20 metres, and so that's open to the south. So that 500 metres has never been touched by a drill rig, and all those results that we hit in the section to the north, the top 150, 200 metres, all open at depth. So we're going to target the depth extension to that. And when I say depth, we're talking 50 to 100 metres.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say something.
We're not talking. We're not drilling 500 metre deep holes. It's really just stepping out and drilling beyond the 30, 40, 50 metres into that next zone, which is all open pitable targets. And that southern area is southern 500 metres. It's just a target-rich environment, we believe.
I know you can't say, but I must feel that excited that, you know, if you're getting that kind of grade up high, it should extend further.
This is exploration knowledge, you never know. But look, I mean, and it wasn't just one hole, as you know. We had lots of 10s, we had 11s, 20s, into the 90s. It was you know, numerous holes that hit high-grade mineralisation. Without
a doubt, it's fertile. Just make sure you guys keep rattling the tin and keep the money up.
Well, you know, we're being prudent. We're trying to do the right thing by the company, raise the money we need to pay for the program we want to do, and that's our philosophy there. And we've now, with that money, we're now completely funded to go and do this next drill program. So we're in good shape.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks for the update, and looking forward to more news, and we'll hopefully continue sharing the news.
Terrific. Thanks for having us, and I look forward to coming back.
All right, great.
Terrific. Thanks, Noel.